Got lots to talk about. Taylor Lewan is on the program. I will move my laptop accordingly. Oh, wow, what a Monday. Run it back in studio, so things are always a little wobbly and loose and goosey and fun, and we're ready to go. We have a mid-season coach firing. Never like to see that or hear about that, but let's get into it. Frank Reich no longer with the Carolina Panthers. We'll go over all the games, and we have Dio on the show tomorrow. Are we joking? We have the biggest game of the year this week. Let's go. Yeah, it's gonna take my cell phone. There we go. Hey, everybody. If you have questions for Taylor Lewan, please hit us up. We had some really good ones. I think the favorite one I saw, Marissa, was how do you fit all of the Graham goodness into Golden Grams? I mean, Taylor Lewan would have the answer to such a thing.
Oh, we need to ask him.
I want to ask him about the little Philly Eagles fans flicking off Bills fans. Little 12-year-old. How old was that child?
He had to be at least 9.
9?
I mean, that's some grade A parenting right there.
Grade A parenting. I mean, the Bills fan was like, yeah, man, you're cool.
I respect Bills fans so much.
Do you?
Yeah.
Weird.
Both destructive
I don't know
and weirdos.
that you have that same opinion if the Bills fell to your Eagles yesterday.
I swear.
But the comeback kings that are the Philadelphia Eagles keep doing it. We'll get into that. We have lots to get into, but we do have the news this morning. We'll ask Taylor Lewan. Taylor Lewan is not for a midseason firing when it comes to coaches. It doesn't always work out. He, of course, experienced it in his tenure with the Titans. But we have the news that Mr. Frank Reich, a lovable coach, great guy. Panthers fire him. There was a lot of talk about how David Tepper, the owner, was, heated, leaving the field with this one. Listen, it's a bad team. It's a bad roster. They didn't do much. They take Bryce Young. There's obviously a lot. I don't know this for sure, but I've always had the idea, and it's sort of confirmed this morning on Twitter, that Frank Reich was really into Stroud, and it was Tepper's camp, and a lot of spreadsheets, a lot of different things saying, oh, no, we got to go for Bryce Young. And there's a lot of the world on the Twitter right now talking about that. Now, I do want to say, Bryce Young, take it easy on him. We always indict and sort of decide the future or what these guys are, what their identity is, what their capabilities, their ceilings are, before anything is really figured out. I've talked to 2 coaches this morning, and I said, does Bryce Young have it? We'll ask Taylor Lewan the same sort of question. Does he have it? And or is he a bust? And they pointed to other quarterbacks that we have more. I mean, rhymes with Justin Fields. I heard that one this morning as a bit of a bust. But with Bryce Young, the roster isn't there. The O-line isn't there. The run game isn't there. Outside of Adam Thielen, who, by the way, whiffed yesterday, outside of him, there isn't the consistency that you would need to even be able to say whether or not Bryce Young has it or not. So we'll see, as obviously they're going to fire everybody. They're going to clean house. They're going to figure this out and build again with David Tepper. We'll see, if a second coaching staff gets shown the door and shown the exit to the parking lot, your key card isn't working anymore, a la Jamal Adams, that brilliant Jets footage that we play over and over again from Hard Knocks. If that happens again, then you can maybe say Bryce Young's a bust. But some of these feistier teams that need quarterbacks for the future, might be looking for a Bryce Young, might be looking to say, hey, Bryce Young didn't work out, and let's see what we can do. As far as head coaches, who wants to go there? When you have such a quick trigger like David Tepper, who, let's just be honest here, he's super involved. I think we can all see that from the outside looking in. You read about how he's bringing the hedge fund mentality. There's right or wrong. This is how I want it. Whatever. The football minds have to be 100% right. Football's a different animal. I don't know anything about hedge funds. I know a little bit about football, and I don't think those two are the same. I don't think that the same things sort of work. So it'll be interesting to see if David Tepper can evolve to sort of delegate and to sort of let someone else in on some of the decision-making, Fitterer fine, whatever, if he sticks around. I don't know if Fitterer sticks around, because you kind of look at that roster and some of those moves and you're like, oh, you got rid of DJ Moore? Okay, that's cool. You did. I don't know if some of those moves really panned out for this Carolina Panthers team. That we want to be competitive, we want to be good. They wasted a young, feisty defense. Now, are you going to waste the window of young Bryce Young? Are there other teams with aging quarterbacks that might take a look and say, hey, I'd like to win on that rookie window. Let's pull him into the mix here. But I think as far as sexiness of spots where coaches want to gravitate towards, make big swings, I think coaches in this day and age do consider ownership groups or to just kind of lay off and let people, sort of do what they want to do. You have that. You look at the really good teams. you know, Kraft, of course, he could put his foot down, but he, you know, I'm happy we're not talking about the Patriots this year, but in the greatness of what they were. Tomlin does his thing. I don't really like ownership's not a big meddler. Chicago seems medley to me. They seem a little medley. You look at places like, I don't know, you look at the new Commanders leadership. I doubt that ownership group is really medley. I bet they're like, and I know it's not going perfectly, but like, do your thing. Broncos, new ownership group. You think? I mean, Sean Payton's probably doing whatever he wants. Like, I'm sure he's got all of the shots there. That's important to the better coaches, I think, to not have, you know, the ownership group as hands-on. So it'll be interesting to see how that sort of plays out. But I think the important thing for me, we'll ask Taylor about it. Like, does Bryce Young have it? We don't know. Stop, like, don't criticize the kid because look at what's going on here. Frank Reich probably, you know, it's a rough go for him. He's going to take his guaranteed and move elsewhere, and it might be the best thing that happens for Frank Reich. Who knows? All right, let's get into it. We spent way too much time on that. Let's move on now and get into some of these games and how this action unfolded. I got in bed at like 5 p.m. last night, and I turned this game on and was like, this is going to be great. Like, this is my perfect Sunday. You know, things like you know, there's a lot on Twitter today, like, hit the ground, like, attack this Monday. Like, people who never tweet that kind of stuff are, like, recharged somehow after this weekend. I'm completely depleted. Like, being around, I'm an introvert. Like, I need a week. I need about a week. I had a bunch of meetings today. I moved them all. I was like, I can't see people. I just need to, like, crawl into bed for the next 2 days. But so I did that last night before this game, and we had just, I mean, 4 different teams sit in the AFC's #1 seed as all of the action unfolded yesterday. The day started with the Dolphins in the top spot. Their Black Friday win over the Jets, which I watched, and then it was Jags following the early slate. Trevor Lawrence looks insane. Then the Chiefs after the late window, but this morning, it's the Baltimore Ravens, baby. They hold the top spot after they edge out the Chargers 20-10. Oh, yeah. Brandon Staley, how you feeling this morning? This was in LA at SoFi, and while it wasn't like the sharpest performance we've seen from Baltimore's offense, they found a way to get it done. And the defense was lights out. Lamar Jackson, how'd you feel about your team's performance?
It meant a lot, you know, because our defense was playing lights out all night. And we wasn't, you know, doing what we usually do, putting points on the board for those guys. But I'm grateful we have a great defense, you know, because without them, we don't know how this game would have went.
I've said it a couple times this year. This is what great teams do. No team has everything firing on every cylinder all season long. What separates contenders is that when one side of the ball isn't like playing at their absolute best, the other side's like, I got you, buddy. You got a friend in me, blah, blah, blah. Play the Toy Story music, whatever. And as Lamar said, that's exactly what the defense did last night. They forced 4 turnovers, including the big one in the fourth quarter, courtesy of Jadeveon Clowney, who's closing in on the first double-digit sack season of his career. You people trying to tell me Bryce Young doesn't have it after year 1? You guys were telling me that about Jadeveon Clowney, and he's out here living his best life right now. They sacked Herbert 3 times. I was texting Hamilton, who's in Columbia, not the city, Columbia, the country, and I thought he was in Columbia, Missouri. I was like, oh, go to Booch's. Like, tell everybody at Harpo's. I said, I know he's in like Columbia, the country. We'll talk to him in a bit. But I was like, where's this run game? Where is Eckler? They held Eckler. They completely stifled him. 32 yards on the ground. They completely controlled the game. After last night, they're the second-ranked defense in terms of scoring and total defense. And I feel like they haven't gotten enough credit for what they've been able to do really all season long. And it wasn't their most explosive effort offensively in the first game that they've played since Mark Andrews went down, but there were some positives to build off of, right? They rushed for 197 yards. Nobody, you see Zay Flowers in the end zone once, twice. Like, you've got to be happy for them. And Andrews' replacement, Isaiah Likely, who a lot of people were talking about yesterday, I mean, he was crushing it last night. This team finds so many different ways to win. They are so complete. And FanDuel Sportsbook has them second at plus 360 to win the AFC. Listen. The more I watch, how can they not be my pick to go to Vegas? Ooh. Girl, how can they not be? All right, at Up and Adam Show, what do you guys think? I'm seeing the comments came back. Somebody said hire Steve Smith to be the coach of the Panthers. That would be interesting. Your girl loves a Steve Smith. Ravens are the best of the AFC. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Who else? You need somebody to challenge what you think would be the institutional postseason knowledge of the Chiefs, and it would have to be the Ravens.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the Bills. Sorry, Bills fans. All right, let's move on to that game, Bills-Eagles game. This one was great. Gosh, this was so fun. It lived up to the hype. Philly dig themselves, as they always do. They had a double-digit halftime hole. Who told you that's what they do? That's what they do. Second week in a row, they pull off the overtime 37-34 win, and the win keeps the Eagles atop the NFC. 2 games up on the Niners. I mean, okay, the Niners are surging. They're playing them this week. I can't wait. Once again, the theme of the day is resilience for this squad. They're 5-0 when facing a halftime deficit this year. Bills fans hated that I tweeted this. I mean, it crushes the 1972 Dolphins NFL record that we've been yapping about the past couple of weeks. This team will not go down. They will not go quietly into the night. They're not taking L's, right? They're coming back. Is it sustainable? I don't care right now. I don't care because it's building immunity. Okay? They're not getting a cold. Okay? They're not going and playing with their 2 nieces and nephews and like they know they're going to get a cold tomorrow. That's me. That's me. That's not them. They come back. They don't get rattled by nothing. And it is such a credit to Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. And speaking of, I don't know if I've seen someone struggle that much in the first half and then just completely catch fire in the second, the way that Jalen Hurts does and that he did yesterday. Take a look at this. After going just 4 for 11, guys, in the first half, 2 turnovers, passer rating of that's 7. That's the actual just single-digit 7. He went 15 for 20, 4 total touchdowns, not a turnover in the building. He was electric in the second half. So there was a lot of debate about his MVP candidacy last week. I think he strengthens it. Do I think a quarterback should get it? I wish they didn't, but if one gets it, that was clutch AF. Okay, that was an incredible performance. FanDuel Sportsbook, do you agree? Let's take a look at the odds to win the award for Jalen Hurts. Do we have it? Oh, there it is. I don't know if we have it. Oh, plus 150. Okay, so Mahomes, distant second at plus 350, as I saw this morning. Okay, and on the Bills side, Bills, you put up 500 yards of offense. You dominate the time of possession. It's clearly working. Like I was like, oh, okay, Ken Dorsey is like watching this in a cold plunge somewhere, and it's looking good under Joe Brady. But they continue to get derailed. It sucks. Big mistakes, big moments. What do we have to talk about? There's like, what do we even talk about? And oh my gosh, I know what the Bills fans want me to talk about, the refs. Oh my gosh, all they're tweeting about is the refs. You can't throw interceptions in a 3-point game in the fourth quarter. You can't have miscommunications happen on 3rd down in overtime. I'll get into this one in a bit with Taylor Lewan. You can't let the opposition just march down the field on the game-winning and game-tying drives either. The Bills did so many good things. It was so, oh my gosh, Josh Allen was like, I am that dude. It continues to be key turnovers and mistakes and big moments that cost them. So, I mean, ref. Woof, 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 woof. That's it. And the loss puts Buffalo a half game out of a playoff spot. 3 games in the loss column back of the Dolphins in the AFC East. So they're still right there. They can get the wild card. I hope they do. It's so much fun when they're in it and they're great. And you got to feel good about the way the offense has been trending since Joe Brady walked in and that spark. It did add a spark. But the spark did not take away the critical errors that are going on, and that's the problem, not the refs with Buffalo. Taylor Lewan loves talking about referees. He loves talking about the NFL. Fresh off a Michigan win, Taylor Lewan is dancing into his appearance this Monday morning. All right, very clutch cat. Cat's clutch. Thank you.
Quick as hell, cat.
Quick as hell, cat. Quick as a cat. So we were supposed to have. Thank you. Okay, that sounds great. Or we can do it in break. Great start, Gold Bar. What a hustle.
Woo-woo.
I mean, Mr. Tepper.
Ay, caramba.
Ay, caramba.
Not good.
It's got to be hard, though, if you have to trust someone. So who do you trust to do that?
I mean, they gave him half a season, and they didn't give him the quarterback they wanted, and then they still said,
Here's my question. Do we know that for a fact? Like, I feel like I've known that, but I don't know who told me that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's more insinuations or like a fact, but I do remember that one soundbite that he was saying.
Well, we know Tepper loved Bryce. So do we know that? But also, like, so what are you going to do? Like, is Tepper going to fire himself? No. So, like that's the business part of it.
Scapegoat is tough.
But I think it's like the things don't translate. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, are the Bills done? Oh my gosh, that would be so
Their offense
crazy.
looks completely different, though, I think, in the past 2 games, in a good way. I think. I don't know if they have enough time. Their schedule is tough.
Yeah, but my Bengals being done should be super. I mean, the Bengals are done.
They're stick.
That Jag. What do they have? The Jags this next week. Ooh.
But the Bills, they have the Cowboys, the 49ers. Let's see. They have the Chiefs, the Cowboys, the Chargers, the Patriots, and the Dolphins. That's tough.
The Broncos are getting in. I'm not kidding. They're getting in. They're so freaking good right now. They're so good, and Russell's just getting better.
I would love to reflect on Sean Payton's statement earlier this season.
Which one?
Right all along.
Which one?
About the Jets.
Oh yeah.
Coordinator.
You're just feeling. Gosh. If Philly lost, this would be a completely different human than we have over here. We gotta. She's dancing. She's like living her best goddamn life over here.
Christmas came early.
Oh, you're too
My dad
funny.
gave me this. I'm very happy.
Yeah. Frankie Reich.
Frankie. I like him, man.
Everybody loves him.
I know.
I know. We'll see what happens here. I don't like the Bryce Young's a bust stuff.
Me either.
I don't like that. We don't.
It's
know that.
way too early. Way
It
too.
doesn't help that CJ is
I know.
all in. Okay, let's do this.
Too strong to be defeated. My strength is within.
Taylor Lewan, the big fella, in for the touchdown.
And today I will win.
It's Monday. You know what time it is. We went from spooky season to Michigan controversy season to spirit of the holiday season with our favorite Pro Bowl left tackle for the Tennessee Titans, co-host of Bussin' with the Boys, your boy, Taylor Lewan. How are ya?
Kay, thanks for having me, dude. I was watching that intro that you gave me, all the cool highlights. One of these days, seriously, before the season's over, your production team should make a low light of me as I come in. Like all bad plays,
Doesn't
sacks
exist.
getting depleted.
Doesn't
No,
exist.
brother, I know of a couple. We know of a couple.
Listen.
How was your weekend, dude?
My weekend was good, dude. Your weekend was great, too. I wanted to show. I was like, let me show his adorable, I don't know if it was Win or Willow from yesterday, in front of the fireplace. Like, you caught her being so cute and adorable with the purity of the holiday season. But instead, I'm going to show you this, because it's something that Win or Willow would not do. Look at this little Eagles fan. Did you see this?
I love it, dude.
Tell me
That's
what you
incredible.
think.
That's the fan base, man. That's why, first off, Philly and Buffalo are two of the fan bases where it's you just don't mess with them. You don't get in a war with Bills Mafia.
Yeah.
And you got 4-year-old kids walking up to grown men, trying to dap them up and give them the bird. That's beautiful. That's football. I love that. That's East Coast ball right there.
Tell me this. When's the last time you actually, gave someone the bird?
Probably
Driving, maybe?
20. No, I'm not I get mad, but I quietly get mad in the car. The last time I probably gave the bird was to the referees after
You gave
I
a bird
ejected from
to
the
a
Packers game.
ref?
Yeah, there's a photo of me, and I'm giving the bird because I got ejected from the game for touching a ref, and it was just such an over the top BS. These refs are over the top with they have too much power.
Tell me.
Too much.
Well, let's get
Too
into
much
it.
power. Let's do it.
What do you think? Where do you want to start? You want to be you want to make Bills fans happy today and give it on the refs, or what do you want to do? You want to talk a little horse collar? What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, the horse collar thing is, that's the kind of, it is what it is. If you have a horse collar, it's very easy to see. He's falling backwards, but there's no horse collar in the pocket. I just think these refs, the issue we've talked about it so many times, is they're leaving so much up for their own interpretation, and to the point where these teams are having to meet on Saturday night saying who the referees are, what they call, what they don't call, and say, hey, make sure, you follow these little rules here and there. And so it's just, I think the NFL is doing their best to make the league safe, but in return, it's you're also hurting the game in so many ways by these calls that refs can just say, oh, that's roughing the passer. Oh, that's not roughing the passer. It's just wild.
Okay, so then Jason Kelce, we got to get into this because I want to talk about it just from your position. Same game, same stuff, 2 false starts during the potential game-winning drive before overtime. So that's super unlike him, of course. The Chiefs pinged for the same call late in the game against Philly last week. So they're calling this. Are you okay with these calls in these big spots?
False starts are false starts. I know that's very unlike Jason Kelce. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a guy that, is a stud who's done it for at a high level for a long time. But those were false starts. Hey, if he's flinching, if he's moving at all, there had to be something going on with the cadence or something, because that's just so unlike him. Now, big block on a draw, they pulled him a little bit. They had blitz coming off the edge. It was huge. But the false starts are just what they are. Like, guys get out of their stance fast or they flinch. Like that stuff's just going to happen. So, Jason, it happened for him, but I don't think that's going to be an issue going down the line.
And he made the huge play, like you're saying. Like, let's talk about this pancake block. This man is 36. How?
36, and he moves like a damn tight end. Like he's little. He's little for an offensive lineman, but his mobility, he's got built-in leverage. The guy's a stud for a reason. He really is crushing it, and he's up for World's Sexiest Man or America's Sexiest Man, one of those two. Like, what a dub for the entire offensive line community.
What a dub. How worried were you about the Eagles' offense without Lane Johnson? I was worried. And it was so impressive how are they able to do that without him?
That just seems like they got a good group of guys right there. With Lane being out, Lane is one of those dudes too. It's like they have so many studs on the offensive line there, and you can see it. That's why they're running the ball on 3rd and 7. That's where they're hitting draws as many times as they do. Obviously, Jalen, he's got great play ability with speed and all that. But man, Lane is such a crucial part, and Lane's not a dude that misses games just to miss games. Like, he's a guy that we saw last year going to the Super Bowl and has a torn groin and figures out a way to play. So whatever it is, hope it gets figured out fast, because he's a guy that. He's probably the best right tackle in the league at this point, or has been for a long time. Yeah.
Bill's side of things look better. I'm trying to be like, okay, Joe Brady, it looks same mistakes. They're losing. They're mad. They're mad at the refs. They're mad at me. They're mad at the world. Are they making the playoffs? Is there a world where they don't? What's going on?
I mean, there's a world where they don't based on their record right now, but I see them making it. I see, whatever the change was after the OC's gone, they booted him out of there, said, hey, buddy, you got to go. They're putting points on the board. They're having mistakes, but the only thing that's going to hinder them is the injuries on defense. I think their defense is just not as stout as they have been in years past. But Josh Allen looks great. The guys look good. It breaks my heart. Gabe Davis, man, at the end, in overtime. It was so weird because you see Josh and he looks like he's mad, thinking to himself that Gabe ran the wrong route, and then Gabe gets off on the sideline. He throws his helmet on the sideline. So there was an obvious miscommunication there. I don't think it was just a bad ball. It's just so odd. Like, he's right there. He's literally right there. So I would love to be a fly on the wall in that meeting this afternoon where they're talking about it, because that was, man, that could have been it. But I think they make the playoffs. I really do. And this is so great about the league. Is 5 weeks ago we're sitting there going, Bills are dead. It's over for them. They can't score points. They're not the team they used to be. And now I'm thinking, the AFC is kind of wide open in those wild card spots.
It's a mess, and I love it. All right, kind of a mess in Carolina. Got to talk about it. It's the news of the morning. You hate a mid-season coach firing. I don't know if you heard me at the top sort of talk about. I hate that, coming after the Bryce Young already, because he's a bust. CJ Stroud's crushing it. Okay, we get it. Whatever. It's the news of the day. What do you make of the firing? I guess, even though I don't think there's much to say there.
I disagree with the firing.
Really?
I disagree. Yeah, okay. I think Frank's he's a great head ball coach. When he was with the Colts, every time he played the Colts, they were a team that understood the rules and used the rules to their advantage. They were a great coach team. They were always in their gaps. They understood, the strategic part of football. And so that's the head coach. And so, I don't know about, GM wanted Bryce, maybe Frank didn't want Bryce. Here's the issue in the NFL is, comparison is the thief of joy. When you say CJ Stroud doing what he's doing for Houston, everyone's going to sit there and be like, oh, we should have got that guy. We should have done this. And, Carolina trades up and they go and get their guy. But you got to look at, they gave away their best receiver to the Bears. They have a 33-year-old white guy as their best receiver right now. It's tough. And don't get me wrong, Thielen's a stud, but we need time to develop players, which is what Frank has shown he can do in the past. Right. And I just think it's unfair when you have a rookie quarterback to say, oh, this is not going to be the guy for us. Because the Carolina, you can't just jump around from Matt Rule to Frank Reich to who's next and who's after that. There needs to be some sort of stability. And that's why I don't like that fire. I think he's a great head coach. It's super dysfunctional. So if he's a great coach and the leadership at the top is in question right now. No one's going to fire Tepper. Tepper's just got to figure it out and how to empower the right people and get it right. From what you've seen out of Bryce Young, this is Bryce Young without DJ Moore, who really only has Adam Thielen as a one consistent piece. The offensive line is not great. The run game not there to support him. Do you think Bryce Young has it from the things that you've seen? I think it's too early to tell with Bryce Young. I mean, for all the reasons you just said, if you don't have a good wide receiver core to help him out. The offensive line struggles. There's not a big run game. Like, that's a lot of pressure to put on a kid that's just out of college who's used to having aliens around him. You come from Alabama, like, you're going to have 5-star guys that can run past everybody and make the tightest cuts on their routes and the greatest offensive line of all time. So it's always going to become an issue in that transition. But that's where the development, that's where guys like Frank Reich do a great job of getting the assistant coaches in to develop the guys. And so I fall back on that, man. I don't think that's the move. I think we go through another offseason. We acquire more guys. We go through the free agency process. We get the dudes we want in there. And then when you look around and say, okay, we have enough pieces to win, then we can start evaluating Bryce Young being a year in there, taking that next step in year 2. I just think, it's such an impatient league. And it's just, I think it hurts so many franchises trying to get out of that bottom of the barrel realm.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a bottom tier team, you're so impatient because you see the Chiefs, you see not the Chargers, God forbid, not the Chargers, but you see like Eagles, you see the Niners, and you're like, we want to be like them. It's like, that takes time. You have to slowly build that. You have to get guys like Nick Bosa, like you did, 3rd overall pick
a
while back.
If Bussin' with the Boys had an NFL team, there's a 33rd team allowed, and you had to play this weekend, would you take Justin Fields or Bryce Young to be your quarterback?
Probably Bryce Young. I see Justin's been hurt a couple of times, and I'm not a massive fan of his play. I don't think he's sitting in interviews saying, I'm just going to do me. It seems like I'm just not a fan of that. Yeah. I'll tell you what, who I love, and it wasn't an option, CJ Stroud, another Ohio State guy. But I'd probably take Bryce just for the sake of it's his first year, and you can kind of chalk him up to that as like, okay, first year woes. Yeah. We don't have a team around him, and we can develop this guy.
Yeah, it's just, I'm still seeing a lot of today I was thinking about, like, in the morning, I was seeing a lot of, like, is Justin Fields the answer in Chicago? And I'm like, are we still having this conversation? Like, I don't know what's going on with it. But let's talk about good things, like CJ Stroud, okay, like what you're saying. I love the future of the AFC South. I love Trevor Lawrence saying, like, I wish they didn't have him. He's really great. That's going to be tough for me the next couple of years. I mean, the Texans had a chance to at least tie the Jags. 34 seconds left in the game. They missed that field goal. If you're D'Amico Ryans, would you have put your faith in your backup kicker who's never made a kick from 50-plus, or put the ball in CJ's hands on 4th down?
I think it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. I think CJ's shown so many times that he can go down the field and do it. But at that point in the game, that last 2 minutes, Jacksonville, Josh Allen specifically, was getting to the quarterback in a hurry, and there was not a lot of time for him to get the ball out. You got to take that risk. You got to take that chance, because if you're in that 4th, I believe it's 4th and 7. If you're in 4th and 7, and that's a lot of yards. I mean, on 3rd down, you're like, you usually get that maybe 50% of the time if you're top in the league. So, you got to trot them out there and hope for the best. You're in a dome. There's not a whole lot of wind. You just got to hope to God, prayers up. And it just didn't work out in the situation.
Tiki Barber losing his mind in the booth when they sent the field goal unit out there. But Houston's just on the outside. They're looking right in there. We are both big CJ Stroud fans. Do you see the Texans as a playoff team? Because if you look at it, the Texans, they're favored to get a playoff spot. They're minus 118 right now in FanDuel. And they got a matchup with the Broncos next week, who I mean, the Broncos are making the playoffs.
Broncos have won 5 in a row. Sean Payton's really showing to be that guy again. Russell Wilson's finally cooking the danger, which might actually come back eventually from Subway. But I think, yes. Yeah, I would have to look at all the Houston Texans record. I know they play the Titans twice, and the Titans are just in a tough spot right now. So you got to assume, they win one of those games.
Can we see the AFC wild card? Can we see the playoff picture, guys, for Taylor? Go ahead, Taylor.
Can we check that out real quick?
There we go.
No, I think the Browns are tough. I think the Colts they're not as good as the record says right now. I could definitely see the Texans making it. I mean, I think that wild card totally moves, and we're looking at Texans, Broncos, Bills. I think the Bills are showing their way. I think the Steelers, I have no idea how they have this many wins. I have no clue. This good defense and TJ Watt. Yes.
I mean, it's literally just Mike Tomlin, I think, a little bit. Okay, so I want to get to a couple of things. I know you have to go. Speaking of the Steelers, we got to get to Deontay Johnson. You saw it. So, I mean, come on. He's going through the motions. It's obvious. It's a turnover. Right. The internet not happy. He also reportedly got into a heated argument with Minkah Fitzpatrick last week. Pittsburgh gets the win. We're asking how. this play didn't help him get the win, I guess. But what do you make of this?
I think, as a gentleman who is in a podcast, that literally our phrase is for the boys, and I would hate to soil anybody, but that is disgusting. That play, it should never, ever, ever be tolerated. Even if it's like, hey, it's an inside zone run, you have the corner, the corner is man on you, just go put your hands on it and put a little bit of effort. Like, you guys are in the hunt. You guys are technically in a wild card spot right now, and that's gross. And the fact that you're getting in an argument with Mika, to me, that's like, well, your ego is just in the way. Mm-hmm. Your ego is just in the way because effort. You can't teach heart. You gotta have that. He's a talented individual. He's a talented football player. But that's the kind of stuff that's the stuff that just gets you beat.
Right. So what do you do? What do you do? Like, if you're Mike, what do we do with him?
Oh, if I'm Mike, I'm in that team meeting room the next day, and I'm just playing it. I'm not saying a word. I'm just playing it over and over again, back and forth, making the whole room uncomfortable. Like, is he going to say anything? Is he going to do anything? And just take a deep breath and be like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we looking at right now? Is this what we want to be? Is this? And then just, it calls for that. That's what football is, man. It's keeping people accountable. You have 11 guys in the field. Everyone's got to do their job. And there's literally a fumble. If that would have been a gross play, he fumbles, he gets a 3-yard gain or whatever it is, and then it's over. But he fumbles, and then he watches the turnover, and he hits like this BS fat guy trot as the guys are running. It's just
can't do a fat guy
bad.
Trot.
It's bad ball, and I hate that. I literally makes my skin crawl seeing that kind of effort.
I mean, does it make you want to flip the bird at him? Because we found the footage. Here it is. Do we have it?
Oh, this is a different one, but yeah, this is Jacksonville.
Twice?
Jacksonville. Yes. I got a stinger in the old neck there, and I see that's Thursday Night Football, and I saw it, and I got fined $30,000 for that.
I don't see you flicking anyone off. I didn't see it.
Thank you.
You did it? Taylor.
Yeah. No, you just pop it up. 30,000. Bink right there.
Oh my gosh. Bink.
Yeah,
It's censored. I didn't see that. Okay, now I saw it. All right, well, there's that. We're going to give you just a little, as much time as you'd like. I know you've got to get out of here, but the floor is yours because you've been waiting. Not so much in silence, I'm sure, but we want to give you your moment for your alma mater, for Michigan, for the boys, for everyone, and how it felt to be back at the Big House for a third win in a row versus Ohio State, and at this crucial time in your history.
Yeah. I love it. Listen, that weekend in November is the biggest weekend in all of college, of all of sports. It's the biggest rivalry in all of sports. And for the last 20 years, before these last 3 years, Ohio State has owned us, and I will give them that. We won. The last time we beat them was when I was in school in 2011. Allegations come out. You guys are cheaters. You guys are this. Ryan Day is crying in the corner, sending out private investigators saying, hey, they're cheating. Find out they're cheating. And now with an interim head coach, we beat Penn State, Maryland, which was actually the scariest game of all three of these, and Ohio State. There's no more excuses. The league, the Big Ten, the NCAA, they can cry all they want, but Michigan is legit. And we got our fearless leader, Jim Harbaugh, back, who lives. If you watch one of this man's press conferences, I know you're not a college football gal. You're not into it, but Jim Harbaugh lives for the awkward moment. He'll sit there, mouth wide open, stare off in the distance, and give you an answer that has nothing to do with the question you asked him. He lives for the awkward. That's his realm, and he is going to continue to do that. And I'm telling you right now, don't blink, because in the middle of January, we'll be looking at Michigan as the national champions.
You love to hear it. I needed to text Dante Whitner and give him a little smoke. He was not happy with your comments about Michigan and Ohio State last week. Taylor, we appreciate you so much. You can check him out, of course, on Bussin' with the Boys, where Bryce Young will be starting over Justin Fields next week in the NFL if you guys had a team. You're the best. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Appreciate you, Kay.
See ya. All right, coming up, we're not going to have any leftovers from these games, guys. We're going to dish out attaboys. We're going to go through some other games. We got it all covered after this. We want to talk more about Houston. I think I need to understand more this hard out for Taylor. Who's imposing this? Okay, like during? Okay, yeah, I don't need to hear that from you in my ear then, I think. Just let it ride. Because I don't know if I'm like somebody's on, like, and I would hope not, but I think we're good.
Yeah.
I think we could have done a couple more of them, actually. But great following means skipping around. That was great. Are we going to do attaboys here, or did we move something? Well, I'd love to be in the discussion. Here I am. Mm-hmm. Sure. That sounds great. I definitely want to get Broncos in, so should we do that one? Or you definitely think we'll have time for everything? Yeah, we'll have time for everything. That's what I figured. Okay. Jacksonville, Houston. Okay, got it. And then Jags Texans. Thanks, Brian. And then we'll get into who do you guys think deserves an attaboy? Let me know in the chat. Obviously, Scott Hansen deserves an attaboy.
Laying his
Just
life on
off
the line.
the jump. What ended up happening with that? It was just like a fire drill?
I think so.
What a poorly positioned, or somebody like hit the buzzer on that thing?
But it went on for like minutes. Like,
And the whole building had to deal with that?
yeah. Oh,
What?
it happened on Thanksgiving a couple years ago. Rich
Says-
is saying.
oh, really?
Yeah, right in the middle of the Thanksgiving show.
Interesting. Could I sing my single? I mean, what is happening
Oh, I
with
hear you.
this today? What?
Rich is... somebody asked in the chat, should Flacco start?
Oh, God.
What do you think?
No, but you know what I do think should happen? I think Bryce Young should go to like a, who else has like an older quarterback? Russell, well, Russell's not older, but Bryce Young took the Broncos, just saying. Rookie window.
Yeah. I mean...
Right now, new customers on FanDuel Sportsbook get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 moneyline bet wins. Now is the perfect time to join. FanDuel app's easy to use. There's a wide range of ways to bet. You got some quick bets, same game parlays, which I love. Props are super fun and more. Download the app today. Back here on Up and Adams, we got big news today. We got Frank Reich out of the Panthers. They got their interim coach, and they're going to figure that out the rest of the way. That team is sort of a done. So we're going to go through some of these games, dish out some attaboys. Oh my gosh, who deserves a bigger attaboy than Trevor Lawrence or, you know, the other Josh Allen with the Jags squad? Unbelievable performance, and what a fun game. In Houston, Matt Amendola, doink, okay, from 58 yards away, allowed the Jags to hang on. This was a pressure-packed game. The victory gives Jacksonville a 2-game lead over the Colts and Texans atop the AFC South, and it's essentially a 3-game advantage because the Jags own the tiebreakers over both, so they're third in the AFC overall as well. Texans fall to third in the division behind the Colts. They're on the outside of this bad boy, trying to get in, trying to squeeze in. Anybody home? Can we sit at the table? We got room. The swings in the AFC were like so drama-filled this weekend, even just yesterday. It was crazy, and it's nuts week to week. By the way, it's not going to calm down anytime soon. As for this game, the Jags sort of overcame some questionable coaching decisions, some big pushes from C.J. Stroud. It was an exciting young Texans team. They pull off the win, or they wanted to pull off the win. The Jags do, though. I talked about Trevor Lawrence last week and how you can kind of tell, I think in how he's talking, and definitely what he looks like on the field with his running and stuff. Just he looks and feels healthier. He's been dealing with this knee injury that's sort of been downplayed. Nobody really paid attention to it. But it carried over this week, and he carried the Jags offense in this game. The Texans did everything they could to get rid of the run game. They said, Etienne, see ya. And, you know, Trevor picked the secondary apart. It was big throw after big throw. He finished with 364 and a score through the air. He had a touchdown on the ground as well. As he gets healthier, he's going to continue to play like this. The Jags are going to be a legit threat to take the AFC crown. I really think so, which is wild and fun to say, and something that I haven't said in a serious way since like Yannick Ngakoue was back there, and it was 2017. It's amazing what's been going on. What a turnaround it's been with some stability at the quarterback position, and of course what they got with pedigree and Dougie down there. So I also got to give love to their Josh Allen. monster. Nobody wants to see him. 2.5 sacks in the day, making a name for himself in the shadow of a quarterback who's on the cover of Madden, which we love, okay? So key part of like forcing the Texans to have to settle for the 58-yard field goal at the end. He's now tied for third in the league with sacks. He has 12. 12. One back of Myles Garrett, 1.5 back of TJ Watt for the league lead. The Jags, they get the Bengals on Monday Night Football, a banged-up Bengals squad. So Browning is just crying. Just tears. Just like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to face this. It's not going to be pretty. The Texans, they're trying to find their way back into the playoff picture in a huge game with the Broncos this week. So we're going to dig into Houston's side of things in a bit. But, yeah, I like their chances of finding a way. Let's get about some attaboys, shall we? At Up and Adam show. Let's hand them out. These are players. These are fans, maybe 10-year-old fans, flicking off opposing fans. Who knows? They deserve a little extra for their performances on Sunday. Scott Hansen deserves one for being calm under pressure during red zone action yesterday and a fire drill. Was it a drill? False alarm? We still don't know. We have Tom Pelissero on it. We should get a tweet here shortly. But my first attaboy is going to go to Giants rookie receiver Jalen Hyatt. I know the win over the Patriots was all about Wink and the defense really as much as anything else. But this is a big-time performance by Jalen Hyatt. We got to celebrate, though, especially when he's a rookie and like the world is falling and you're playing with different quarterbacks week in, week out. He had 5 catches. This accounted for 109 of Tommy DeVito's 191 yards. You know, I mean, Daniel Jones, friend of the show, what'd you make of this? What do you want to say to your rookie wide receiver?
Attaboy, attaboy.
Attaboy, attaboy, attaboy. It's about as excited as I've ever seen Daniel Jones. So in all those yards, no one else had more than 26. He had 109. Nobody else had more than 26 on the day. He put that game-breaking speed, the big playability, everything was on display all game long. And this is important for Giants fans for the long haul, okay? We got attaboy Stroud. Attaboy, who else deserves an attaboy? Guy Debo, Debo deserves an attababy, and he'll be on the show tomorrow. But while the Giants may not be going anywhere this season, you want to see something to get excited about. A little hoopla, please. And this is when young players put on shows like this, there's hope. There's some like emergence, something to like wrap your head around down the stretch. And I think they found themselves that in Mr. Hyatt. Up next, let's go to the Rams. We don't talk about the Rams very much on the show, okay? How about Mr. Williams? He was on his way to a breakout season before he had landed on IR. He got the ankle thing going on. But this kid picks up right where he left off, and he returns to lead LA to this dominant win over the Cardinals. The Cardinals, what a sad story that is. 204 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns, first game back. You know probably appreciates this? Matt Forte. Matt Forte, do you love this? You love this kind of performance out of Kieran Williams?
Attaboy, attababy.
Yeah,
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it. It was just the 7th game he's played this season, 4th time he's scored multiple touchdowns, emerging into a star. I think he makes the team so much more dangerous when he's out there. The Rams have, they've gotten back to 5 and 6 pretty suddenly. I don't know how they do that. Whenever I watch the games, it's really just like Sean McVay, pacing up and down the sidelines. That's all it is on Red Zone, is him doing that. But listen, if the Vikings lose to the Bears tonight, they're a game back of a playoff spot. Finally, my last attaboy of the day. Who else you guys got? Let's see. My hair looks amazing. Are y'all crazy? I look crazy today. My hair deserves an attaboy. Thank you. Appreciate it. Who else you guys got here? Oh, you know what? Somebody said Jake Elliott. Mm-hmm. And I do want to say, we never give love to Jake Elliott. And in this world where kickers, all we do is batter them when they miss and whatever, Jake Elliott from draft choice to now, what a stud he is.
And
I love his story. He's
him.
your GOAT?
He's my GOAT.
Oh, I just feel like we never give Jake Elliott the love. So I'm actually really appreciative of somebody saying that. People are liking attaboy Jalen's. We love that. Okay, I'm going to hit you guys with a Colt because they deserve some space on the show. We got to talk about Jonathan Taylor because after all the contract drama and all the injury drama, he's back to doing JT things. 95 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground yesterday. Okay, this Bucs defense is no joke against the run. They never are. Nobody runs on this team. I don't know how the Colts and him did this or schemed this up, but I'm sure Dwight Freeney feels a bit of a way about this, don't you, Dwight?
Attaboy. There you go. Attaboy.
There we go. Dwight Freeney giving him some love. Jonathan Taylor willing the Colts to a playoff situation, okay? After the big performance. And then you got the Texans, who barely lost, but they did. And the Bills barely lost, but they did. The Colts are in the final wild card spot. Irsay's tweeting recklessly. Who cares? They're in the playoff spot. Pay Hey, Ursay, stop tweeting, pay this man. Pay this man and figure it out. All right, we're going to take a short break here. Keep the attaboys coming. Let's see. What did I say about Shams on here? Shams was in studio today. Shams needs to get his butt out here and be on the show. When we get back, we're going to give some love to the Falcons. I wouldn't tease stuff like Falcons. What else is left here? More games. Broncos would have been a good tease. Yeah.
Saints, Falcons.
Did you hear me? Okay, cool. Saints, Falcons. Got it. Gosh, what a heartbreaker. What a gut punch for Saints fans. Ay, 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 ay.
I mean, if you're DA.
Oh, Michael D. attaboy to Jesse Bates. We're going to give a little love to Jesse Bates. What a stud. What a standalone, stud player. God.
Seriously.
What were you going to say?
If you're DA, are you giving Jameis a shot?
Do I want to what?
Are you giving Jameis a shot?
No, thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I can't. Go ahead. I'm sorry, baby.
It's okay.
I know how I feel half the time. Go ahead.
I was going to say, are you going to give Jameis a shot if you're Dennis Allen?
Yeah. Don't you want to see a little Jameis?
You know I love Jameis.
Don't you want to see a little Jameis?
Jay
out
Boo.
there?
I need him on the show. But I mean,
No, yeah.
Derek
they
Carr
should.
has 2 touchdownless games
I know,
this season
it's not
already.
funny.
That's so bad. So bad.
Somebody's got to win the South.
I love Derek Carr. I want the best for him.
We have some love to Jesse Bates. So we were doing Steelers-Bengals, right? Mm-hmm. After that, and then what? And then Chiefs-Raiders? Uh-huh. That sounds great. Do you think Chiefs Raiders over Bucks Colts? Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, Kyle Hamilton. I mean, Kyle Hamilton was getting all the love on the broadcast.
As he should.
He was getting all the freaking love on the broadcast. And where's Hammer? Is Hammer here? I know we only have like a minute. Hammer. Hammer got. I was asking him. I go, are you watching Jason Garrett on this broadcast? Are you watching this? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, no, I have the Spanish version because he's in Colombia, the country. And I was like, oh, you're so fortunate.
You were very fortunate. I will say that.
I actually thought, Jason, it can't be easy to do. But I thought it was funny. But they kept talking about Kyle Hamilton. And he goes, all I keep hearing is Spanish, Hamilton. And then they kept giving love to Kyle. They were gushing over his year. I mean, after last year, it's incredible what he's doing this year.
Yeah, and they love him down here. Kelly, I think, is going to get a Kyle Hamilton jersey after that.
Are you ever coming
She's
home?
all in. I don't know. I'm on the fence.
I thought Matt Hamilton was in Columbia, Missouri. So I thought, go to the Blue Note, go to Booch's, go to Shakespeare's Pizza, go on the quad. Send me a selfie from Willie's Pub and Pool where I used to tend bar. And no, he's in Columbia, the country. But Hamilton, show your face here. Hamilton was somewhere. They came and they kicked him out. And now he traveled somewhere else, and you somehow are still on the show in a different place. What's going on?
We made it work. It was supposed to be about a 25-minute trip here. It took about an hour 40, but I made it. Yeah, and happy to be here. Happy to be on the show.
And you're coming home at some point?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I do have to get back to my cats, at least get them, bring them back here if I'm going to stay.
Who gets the MVP for you being able to be? Is it? Are you giving love to the Wi-Fi? Are you giving love to Kelly? Like, who deserves for you being on the show right now?
It's Kelly. She got things done. When the cab driver was lost, she got him in gear, got me here, and got me the Wi-Fi, and we made it happen.
Shout out to Kelly Hamilton, to Kyle Hamilton, anybody but Matt Hamilton getting love on today's show. All right, you and I talked Broncos a lot yesterday, Hamilton and I, and that's where we're going to start in Denver. They just keep winning. Who said that they're going to turn it around and they got rid of a couple of guys and it just figured everything out? They win. They keep. It's 5 in a row. They're, over 500. Things are good in Mile High. They're in a 3-way tie for a playoff spot. They're making the playoffs, people. Their schedule was cake, is going to be cake. They've got, what do they have this week? Oh, the tough one against the Texans, fun one. Then they come to LA to take on the Chargers. Come on. They started 1-5. It's all pretty incredible. It's all intestinal fortitude. It's all facing adversity, resilience. And here's Sean Payton, who I haven't seen this, but I'm sure is pretty happy about his team's performance.
We felt like this was going to be a pretty physical game. We had a lot of respect for this team. They came in here, obviously, with a real good record, both how they played defensively and how they rushed the football. We felt like the rushing numbers were going to be real important when this game ended. And credit our players on defense, Vance and his staff.
Do y'all understand what this man did yesterday? He said, Cleveland is known for being physical. Cleveland is known for their run game and for their defense. So we're going to go into this fight. We're going to take their stuff to them and be better at them at it. And they were. They were like, we're going to take, you know what that must feel? They went in, they said, we're going to take over the identity of our opponent and keep the win streak alive. It was fueled by what he just said, by defense, by physicality, by the run game. They said, we're going to play the Brown style of football better than Cleveland did, and then did that. Yes, that's what they did. Dorian Thompson-Robinson's concussion, some sloppiness from the Browns offense helped make the score more lopsided, but the Broncos have found themselves. They ran for 169 yards and 2 touchdowns on this vaunted Browns defense, gashing them on the ground left and right. And defensively, they forced 5 fumbles. This defense is like, let's go. Let's go. They're so juiced up. It's amazing to see. It reminds me of those Saints defenses that were running into the end zone before anybody else did, taking pictures, doing group celebrations. This is the sort of vibe that's going on. They recovered 3 of those 5 forced fumbles. They held Cleveland at 2 for 13 on 3rd down. The Broncos are technically on the outside looking in. They're tied with the Colts and Texans for the final AFC playoff spot, 6-5. Gosh, this game's going to be so amazing. But their odds are creeping closer and closer to even money to make the playoffs at plus 146. So they're going to be tested here over the next 3 weeks. I know I'm saying it's a cake schedule, but like they got 3 straight games on the road. Never fun. At Houston, that's tough. At the Chargers, at Detroit, 3 toughies on the road. If they can go 2 for 3 over that stretch, a massive statement, and they find themselves in the playoffs. Just credit to them, credit for taking, just like what they did. It wasn't a great matchup for them, and they went and like outdid what Cleveland's best at. That's crazy confidence added to the confidence on a 5-game win streak. And what a freaking turnaround for this Broncos squad. And let's start in Atlanta, shall we, with the Saints here on this one. And, because it's Sean Payton's old team, of course. Who wants to win the NFC South? What's going on, okay? 5-6, now lie the Falcons. Here's Bijan Robinson, and a surprise guest, by the way, talking about the big win afterwards.
What's up, y'all? It's Bijan Robinson. Hey, we just came out with the W as a team, big team win against the Saints. Hey, we just give God glory, give God praise, and that's what we do. And let's keep rolling, let's keep getting it, and hey, rise up, baby.
Bijan's like the most positive player in the NFL. If anybody follows him on Instagram, his stories, his inspiration, like even just that vibe, I would run away from Freddie the Falcon. I don't like birds, as we all know, but he earned that hug and more. This was really about him finally getting completely unleashed and showing, gosh, I don't even know if I can say it's like the full spectrum of what he can do, but really showing us something. Let the kid loose. He finished the game with 91 and a touchdown on the ground, 32, and this gorgeous touchdown through the air that really put the game out of reach. That's the first multi-touchdown game of his career. You think there's not more coming? Oh, there is. You could feel it in the building, okay? You could feel it building as it keeps going. No matter how much Arthur Smith might make you mad and you might not like his little mustache or whatever, managing the workload for Bijan early, could that not maybe be helping him ball out as we hit this stretch run here? I don't know. It kind of looks like it. Let's just cool it on that a little bit and let's let Bijan do his thing. And gosh, we got to shout out Jesse Bates. He's lighting up the YouTube chat here, and he deserves it. What a revelation for this defense. He had a pick 6 and a key forced fumble in this one, and it would be nuts if he doesn't finally get selected as first-team All-Pro. Can we make, Jesse, right the ship here, world? Like, can there be some goodness in the NFL world and rightness, and a rightness to life? As my therapist would like to say, there's a rightness to life. There should be. He should be an all-pro. I mentioned it earlier. The win puts Atlanta in first place in the NFC South by virtue of the head-to-head tiebreaker. They now hold over the Saints. You know things are going to drag out with this division. It's going to be ups and downs. Falcons have taken over as the favorites. You can see it plus 100 over at the Goals FanDuel Sportsbook. Saints still right there as well at plus 150. Who wants it more? Bijan and Jesse Bates, two absolute studs. I guess we should talk about Cincinnati. The Jake Browning-led Bengals. I'll say this, they gave the Steelers a tough time. Pittsburgh escaped 16-10 on the road. They're now 7-4. Let's hear from the winners and their coach, Mike Tomlin. He was asked about Kenny Pickett here.
You know, we did what we needed to do to win. Guys like myself and Kenny, man, we're judged based on winning and losing, and we don't run from that. We run to that. So he and I are winners today.
I feel like he's kind of vague there, and I feel like he doesn't want to, like, totally pile on Matt Canada and all of that, so that's fine. This was the first time this year, 12 weeks in, the first time that the Steelers have outgained an opponent, guys. And they did so by a wide margin. They racked up a season-high 421 yards with Mike Sullivan and Eddie Faulkner running the show to just 222 yards from the Bengals. Kenny Pickett put up a season-high 278 through the air. Najee looked insane. Okay, he looked so great. 15 carries, 99 yards, a score. It looked like a totally different Steelers offense. Like they looked on the right side of a playoff picture, and they are there as a result. Bengals side of things, I'm very proud of how this team battled and hung around. I mean, I'm praying for a miracle, always am. I feel like all of the starters, they rose to the occasion. They played their asses off. It is a struggle for this offense with Jake Browning back there. It's a struggle. And I know the run game wasn't super efficient. You can't have Browning drop back 30-plus times with Mixon getting 8 carries. I don't know what that's all about. But it's just not a recipe for this team to win games. The run game has to get it going if Browning is the answer on this team. I guess that's it for our show. Got 40 seconds left, and that's where we're wrapping it up here. Ay. Okay, we will see you guys tomorrow. Deebo Samuel will be on the program. Hamilton will probably still be in the country of Colombia. You'll probably still be wearing a Kelly Green outfit leading up to a big game. I don't know. You got questions for Deebo tomorrow?
Oh, I got questions.
He looked pretty good.
I got some bulletin board material.
He looked great.
He did look good.
He looked so good. He looked healthy out there.
I know.
I was happy for him. I was happy for all of them. Christian McCaffrey, they all looked insane. So let's talk about the Niners. We'll get you set for that. Should we have done a preview for tonight's game? I don't know. You just heard a really prolific player say that he'd rather have Bryce Young than Justin Fields. And there's your preview for the Vikings and the Bears tonight to wrap it up for this week's action. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Josh Dobbs.